today's The T-38 Challenge. It goes to show how well these aircraft were built, and the Air Force have awarded a 10-year contract to the engine manufacturer General Electric to continue to update and maintain these JD5 engines on board through the end of this decade. Coming in now for the break, let's watch as they perform a turn, pull in excess from 4 times the force of gravity as they bleed speed and set up for their landing pattern. Again, our pilots today. System. You can see the boom extended now to your right as the KC-135 approaches. Recently used in conflicts in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places, the original KC-135 made its first flight back in 1957. And now, ladies and gentlemen, representing your Kansas Air National Guard, based right here at Forbes Field and the Topeka Regional Airport. It's the 190th Air Refueling Wing and the 117th Air Refueling Squadron. They are best known as the Kansas Coyotes. Aerial refueling, which takes place at 500 miles an hour, tens of thousands of feet above the ground, is executed by having another out air. Our KC-135 crew today, Lieutenant Colonel Nate Barra, Major Alan Clark, Lieutenant Tyler Thresher, Technical Sergeant Brandon Gray, and Technical Sergeant John Paland. They're your home state representatives, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a big round of applause. Coming around now for their second pass to give you a waving salute for all of you here in attendance at Thunder Over the Heartland 2021. Aircraft in just 24 hours, a record established and remains unbroken by any other aircraft since 1981.
Butter. Spoilers up, reverse thrust out.
As our KC-135 Stratotaker touches down out there on runway 31. We also see our Northrop T-38 Mississippi, the T-38 Talent. These World War II warbirds, of course, powered by what are known as radial engines. And if that's a term not familiar to you, in our cars we have what's called, we have like a V6 or a straight 4 or a V8 or something like that, but with a radial engine, it makes for an amazing sound, and that sound you hear is not so much the engine, but rather the propeller tips going supersonic at around 2,400 RPM. We like to call that a sound runner. As the tour aircraft completed, they're here at the show today. Be sure to visit their booth on the midway throughout the air show. And Glory Days Pizza, thank to all of our partners for their continued support. Stand by, we're currently working an issue. Well, it appears that we have an, oh boy, we appear that we have an airplane that has made its way into the air show space. Boss, are we talking with him at all? Let me see if I can go up to the cockpit and see what's up. Yellow airplane, do you copy?
No, it's falling.
Let's see if we can get him on the radio. Yellow airplane, do you copy the announcer on the radio? Hello? Who is this? Well, I think he's mighty busy right now. I'm not sure where he came from, but we're actively working that right now. A yellow airplane, do you copy me on the frequency? Well, no luck yet. I feel like he transmitted earlier on. I'm not sure what's up with the airplane. It's almost falling apart.
I just wasn't sure.
We will try him on the radio. Other deal here. Let's see. Yellow airplane, do you copy? Oh, let's try. Well, no luck, but he is certainly flying very low to the ground. And oh boy, he just lost a tire.
Oh no!
Oh no. Well, that's a wheel problem, isn't it?
Okay.
Announcer, sir. Can you copy the announcer? Oh, I think I picked him up there. Yellow airplane, where are you from? State your intentions.
I'm here. Hey, dog. I'm on what do you think of her?
You're at 11th Worth Prison on payroll?
Yeah,
Flying here, your airplane's falling apart. If you were in prison, how did you put it together? Try that one more, me. Okay, Chuck. Well, hey, sir, I don't need you to push forward because you're about to stall the airplane. Oh, no. No, you don't want to push forward. Up, Chuck. No. Those are your rudder pedals. They make the nose go back and forth. You can't be doing that.
I got one. Really don't need your help. But it's got here, rudder.
Important paperwork. Okay, well, we're here when you need us.
Yeah, but it's a lot better off.
Oh, okay. I hope so.
I shouldn't have been seconds.
Well, I've been from instructor, man. I do need a little help from you.
Okay, well, I need you to push over right now because you're about to stall that airplane. So in between the legs there, get your control stick in it. If you pull back, the houses get smaller, and if you push forward, the houses get bigger really fast. This, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the only flyovers I've ever seen of this very unique intelligence gathering airplane. It supports real-time, on-scene intelligent collection, analysis, and dissemination capabilities. It has a sophisticated array of optical electronic sensors, including a variety of recording media, communications equipment.
Camera.
It's a national asset, uniquely suited to provide America's leaders and the defense community with vital information that cannot be obtained in any other source. On board the RC-135, you can see them circling high and behind us, coming down the line now. The running S2 track of the firebomb.
No idea that the Japanese Navy approaches and launches the first wave, 189 fighters and bombers from Japan's first air fleet toward Pearl Harbor. So confident of total surprise are the attackers that as they approach the island, the coded signal indicating a totally successful surprise raid is flashed back to the carrier task force before the first bomb falls. Tora! Tiger, a single remote radar station had spotted the incoming raiders, but mistook them for a flight of B-17s due in from the mainland. The B-17s arrived, and like America itself, This is Tora, the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, and we've taken you back to that fateful day of December 7th, 1941. You are there at Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field. The bombs start going off, and you can just imagine what it was like that day. The attack. The Japanese aircraft carriers Akagi, Akaga, Hiryu, Soryu, and two new carriers lasted a little over 2 gruesome hours. When the first bombs began to fall, pilots all over the island jumped into action. At Wheeler Field, Lieutenant Philip Rasmussen woke to the sound of bombs, jumped out of bed, strapped a .45 caliber pistol over his purple pajamas, ran to find a working P-36 Hawk, was joined by 4 more P-36 pilots, and took off to engage the attacking Japanese. Pilots Rasmussen, Lewis Sanders, Harry Brown, Gordon Sterling, and Malcolm Mike Moore viewed the Japanese Zeros, valves, and gates, but the enemy numbers were open. The P-36 wrapped up flying in front of you right now. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island, Kenneth Taylor and George Welch were just returning from an all-night dinner, dance, and cocktail party. These brave pilots, still in formal dress, raced to a couple of P-40 Warhawks, got them fueled and armed, and took off and quickly found themselves in the middle of a real battle they had no idea was going to happen. These two pilots caught up with the Japanese close to Pearl Harbor at Hickam Field and engaged the Zeros, valves, and gates with just .30 caliber machine guns. Taylor and Welch quickly ran out of ammunition, landed at Wheeler Field near the center of the island, refueled, reloaded with .30 and .50 caliber ammo, and took off to fight the Japanese again. The two are credited with downing a total of 6 Japanese warplanes before their own planes were disabled. Both pilots received a Distinguished Service Cross for their actions that infamous day. 402 U.S. planes were on the ground at the beginning of the attack that day. 188 were destroyed, 159 damaged, and just 155 were left on the ground in varying stages of repair. Yes, you can imagine in our giant chamber of imagination, as you see the Curtiss P-36 chasing a Japanese Zero, what it must have been like that day with the first wave of 189 Zeros, valves, and takes the valve dive bomber in front of you right now, raining down hell on Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field. The first wave of 189 Japanese Zeros, valves, and gates hammered Hawaii for an hour and 40 minutes. Then came the second wave of 171 airplanes to continue the strafing, bombing, and dropping of torpedoes for another 120 minutes. A total of 360 enemy warplanes. As the attack proceeded at Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field, the devastation, as you might imagine, was awesome. On the eastern edge of Ford Island, in the center of the harbor, 7 battleships lay at berth. The California, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Tennessee, Arizona, and Nevada. The Japanese hit first with Cape torpedo bombers like you see right in front of you now. The initial wave of Capes hit the Oklahoma, California, Nevada, West Virginia, and the Utah. These Capes were equipped with special shallow running torpedoes designed specifically for the attack on Pearl Harbor, thereby removing any claim that the Japanese might make that this was an opportunistic attack, something they didn't plan. They indeed did plan. You see, the shallow waters of Pearl Harbor would not allow the use of deep-running torpedoes the way they're normally programmed. Then came the valve dive bomber, just like the one you see in front of you right now. Armed with 1,700-pound armor-busting projectiles made for 16-inch battleship guns but converted to aerial bombs. These planes dived down on the Nevada and Arizona. Anti-aircraft fire veered the valves away from the Nevada on the first wave, but the Arizona wasn't that lucky. A bomb stabbed the Arizona through her forward magazines and exploded, touching off more than 1 million pounds of gunpowder. a sailor on the Nevada, watched the Arizona jump up at least 15 to 20 feet in the water and break into two pieces, forever entrapping 1,200 American servicemen in an underwater tube. The ship sank in less than 3 minutes, and to this very day remains at the bottom of the Harbor as a mute memorial to all who lost their lives that infamous day. Yes, you're seeing a reenactment of the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th of 1941. We've taken you back to that faithful day. At Bellows Field on the northeast coast of the island, more U.S. Army Air Corps pilots were racing to their P-40s. Just then, Japanese Zeros appeared and started strafing runs, just like you saw a moment ago. One P-40 pilot was killed as he stepped into his cockpit. 2 other P-40s were down just as they got off the ground. Once again, the P-36 Hawk, hot on the tail of one of the Japanese Zeros, simulating the 5 brave P-36 pilots that were able to get into the air and knock down some of those marauding Japanese Zeros, valves, and cates. Yes, this is Tora, the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, and we've taken you back to that fateful day of December 7th, 1941. Listen to the roar of the engines and the sound of gunfire, the air raid sirens, the sound of bombs going off, and you can just imagine what it must have been like with 360 of these Japanese warplanes wreaking havoc all over the island of Oahu in Hawaii. That flight of B-16, B-17s coming from the mainland arrived and are immediately attacked by the marauding Japanese Zeros. In the confusion, the B-17s were shot at by friend and foe, and frightened crews landed wherever they could. One in a pineapple field not far from Nickham Field. Yes, Tora is the name of the attack. That was the coded signal that went back to the carrier task force indicating a totally successful raid before the last bomb fell. Coming in from your left once again, the Val dive bomber simulating the dive bombing range on their home in Arizona. The Cape torpedo plane dropping those shallow running torpedoes, and a Japanese Zero right behind it one more time. Yes, this is Tora, the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, a recreation of that fateful day that brought us into full compliance and effort with World War II. One of the B-17 pilots landing in this delay, a Major Landon, trying to land, said, "What a hell of a way to enter a war. Out of gas, unarmed, and you're going to love this demonstration."
God, you can feel the heat blasting off of those.
Burke from Galveston, Texas. Following him in 0111, Patrick Hutchins from Bayou Vista, Texas. Then 112, Ron Wright from Huntsville, Texas, and Chris Walker from Palestine, Texas. 0114, Dan Reedy from Pearland, Texas. There he is. Our Val 78, Doug Durr from the Woodlands, and Chris Houston from Port Isabel, Texas. Kate 356, Daniel and Carter Rathman from Odessa, Texas. 0113, Taylor Stevenson from Dallas, Texas. Ben West is our pyro lead. He's from Madison, Wisconsin. My name is Ray Norton. I'm from McAllen.
A variety of fixed-wing aircraft deploying them overhead, or perhaps even repelling them from specially equipped helicopters. Chemicals used to fight the fires may include water enhancers such as foams and gels, and especially Coming down the line, Tora, Tora, Tora. Be sure to give them a big wave and a nice round of applause. As we get in Bill Garrison now at the S2 tracker. This airplane that we're about to see is the first certified, first ever, especially here in Kansas, call when needed. It's got a contract with the Kansas Forest Service, and it's ready to go year-round, especially in the spring when Kansas historically sees its most massive fires. The 6 largest fires in Kansas history occurred over the last 23 years, and of those, 4 occurred in March and 2 in February. The March 2017 Highlands Fire burned more than 6,000 acres and destroyed more than 10 homes. Bill Garrison lives in the evacuated area, but he was in the air, dropping water to suppress those flames. Garrison said it was the 2017 fire that made him realize he had more capacity and a plane intended to drop water. He's a crop duster. He would donate and do contracts with the Fire Service to help with those efforts, so he bought the S2. He spent more than 2 months restoring this airplane we're about to see before flying it back home from Carson City, Nevada. Just a crew of 4, now controlled by a single pilot. It's powered by 2 boring Wright Art 1829 cylinder random cooling radial engines. Water bombers, well, they range in size and they range in scope. It depends on he or she is the eyes and ears on the ground and will help guide the aircraft into position to extinguish the fire. Sea Fury.
Sea Fury, not Sea Bear.
And of course from the right as well. Coming down the line from the Vietnam era. Tell you that we have a very impressive lineup for you here this weekend. Flying in the show today with about 10 types of aircraft that have served at one time in one capacity or another in military service. And we'll tell you all about them as they come by. Taking part in our Warbird review about that. We'll see the North American T-6 Texans, the aircraft that taught the world to fly. We'll also see the Hawker Sea Fury over your left shoulder as they make their way to the box for our direct reviews here today. It's the national athletes of America during World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and all wars. And I fly to salute to our veterans past and present. 1941, more than 16 million Americans went on to serve. By the war's end, nearly 500,000 perished. We fly these Warbirds today to tell the stories of our veterans. The TBM Avenger, a torpedo bomber who made famous in the Pacific Theater, one Sky Raider. It was tradition for many families to listen to the news from the front lines by that of listening to the radio. Those PT airplanes took quite a beating, as you can imagine. They had 2 seats, one for the instructor, and the instructor sat in the back seat. Many PT primary trainers didn't even have radios, and the instructor would yell into a rubber tube. We watch now one of the aircraft that after you completed current basically advanced, particularly that of the regiment of the Royal Air Force, which is the Royal Navy Air Force, is the heartland that can carry the same amount of payload that the B-17, and that is the A-1 Sky Raider, being chased down today by P-40, flown by Missouri Congressman Sam Craig, one of those frontline fighters of the vast airplane, as you can see. Fighter to serve with the Royal Navy. There's one of the annual at the National Championship Air Races out in Reno, Nevada this year, where they clocked the speeds of the Olympic category Warhawk. One of the more prominent aircraft during the start of World War II. Less power. That's the 1966. Right-hand side is the TBM torpedo bomber. And even though it was made famous in the Pacific, it was not limited to that theater. We saw many of those as well, made it famous in the Battle of Midway in 1942, and it was the TBM Avenger that was the airplane flown by the 44th President of the United States, the then young George H.W. Bush. He was shot down in one of those TBM torpedo bombers in 1944. He was 20 years old at the time, flying a mission over a Japanese island. And the mission was to bomb a radio tower to cut off Japanese lines of communications. He took on enemy fire, which crippled the TBM he was flying. He was able to parachute himself out of danger, but completed the mission by launching the 500-pound torpedo and destroying the radio tower. Bush Sr. was lucky enough to live in the water and escape capture by the Japanese vessels with the help of other American airplanes flying overhead. Bush Sr., of course, named all of his TBM Avengers the Barbara, after Barbara Pierce, the young lady which he asked to marry him before he shipped out to war. Providing top cover, the Douglas A-1 Skyracer. We now welcome our Trojans, the North American T-28. The has that advanced trainer for the United States military by that of several branches as well. T-28s continue to be used after its introduction in the 1950s, all the way up through the 1980s before being retired. It is powered by the Wright Cyclone R-1820 radio engine, the same engine used on board the 17 Flying Fortress. It was done. Here come the T-6 Texans, the trainers. North American Aviation built around 50,000, and the true numbers of how many T-6s were actually built never be known. And that is via the historian of North American Aviation. Your number difference from mine? You're right. Here comes that AC Eisenhower during World War II, went so far to say that it was one of the 4 pillars of American success in winning the war. Those 4 pillars: the Jeep, the bulldozer, the half-ton truck, and the Douglas C-47. It's a very stable and efficient platform for support. In 1965, the Air Force ordered the Technical Air Command to establish an ADO wing based at Forbes Field, right here in Topeka, Kansas. On board, 3 7.62mm GAL-2 M134 miniguns, or 10 .38-inch Drop M2 machine guns. The scoop and receive here at the Topeka Regional Airport. T-6 Texans. Back at the end of World War II, you could buy one of these T-6s surplus for the military for sometimes over $60,000. Today, for $250 grand. What a great investment that would have been. Here in the United States, many of these warbirds, of course, still fly, all thanks to private individuals who forget the sacrifices made by our veterans. One of the original gunships of Vietnam from the left. Here comes the Douglas AC-47 with Scoopy. Aircraft I have yet to mention as part of our mix today, the L-17 now. And you may ask yourself, well, why do those lunar airplanes matter so much? Well, I'll tell you this, that during Vietnam and also during World War II, there was data that showed that the enemy feared observation airplanes, such as the L-17 and many of the other airplanes. In fact, the enemy dared not to shoot at these observation airplanes because they would ultimately give up their... It was built by North American Aviation later on after World War II. And it featured some new features as well to make it more pilot-friendly, like go out over the troops and then just simply turn the airplane upside down.
We are getting hammered by rain right now. Ain't gonna stop them though.
Or TFR, and all of that operation inside the airspace is under the control of Sam Hofstetler and Winning Box here this afternoon. Taking off right now, ladies and gentlemen. The platform used to drop the atomic bombs. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As we now see one of only two flying in the world, ladies and gentlemen, from the left, we are proud to welcome the B-29 Super Fortress Doc. Than anyone else in North America today. The MiG-17 with Randy Ball as he's on his takeoff launch. Over 9,000 of these aircraft were built. Today we're going to see a thunderous jet performance by Randy Ball and the Russian MiG-17F. Now pulling some 8 times the force of gravity. Look at the fire coming out the back of the MiG-17. And a giant fan that sucks the air in. There are smaller fan blades that compress this air. It is then fed into a combustion chamber with an igniter and some fuel, and that controlled explosion coming out the back is what you'll be able to see Topeka and Forbes Field as he's about to climb high and behind us to set up for his next pass. Ball has been recognized, a distinguished airline pilot at Air Wisconsin, and he would like to invite current and aspiring pilots, aircraft mechanics, or if you're going to be a flight attendant, to join him. If Air Wisconsin hires you as a new pilot, you'll be eligible for a signing bonus of up to $5,000 to help them with their mission. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is from Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. Here is the Boeing E-3 Century VA-WAX. The crew will now bring the E-3 around for its second pass. The E-3 Century is powered by 4 Pratt & Whitney TF33 turbofans producing 21,500. There she is, the Boeing E-3 Century, the VA-WAX. 52nd Air Patrol Wing for participating with Thunder over the Heartland. I will tell you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to keep a close eye on the HC-130. The rear of the door, the main ramp, is open. They're coming by right now for what is called their streamer drop. On board, those members of the U.S. Army Black Daggers will deploy these small streamers, also known as WDIs, or wind drift indicators. They're made from crepe paper. They've got a slide with all the controls and the pulleys, and it does not have an electronic, or I should say an electric starting system. Therefore, the airplane has to be hand propped on the ground. We have to make the magnetos hot, and someone has to come over and actually...
Probably won't be till it's over there.
Picking up our drop zone now. Keep your eyes in the skies as our jumpers are just a few moments away from their leap of faith.
I saw something. Yeah, there they go.
We now have jumpers away, ladies and gentlemen, in free fall, 120 miles an hour. Again, the Black Daggers performing for us this weekend. Sergeant First Class Sean O'Toole, Staff Sergeant Jeremy Keith. Now, as they pass to around 1,500 feet above the ground, it is very quiet up there. In fact, jumpers can sometimes talk to each other, much like how you and I can have a conversation. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, the ground is a great reflector of sound. Let's make some noise as we bring in the Black Daggers and get them in right on target. Beautiful stand-up landing, ladies and gentlemen, as our Black Daggers make their way in. As the remainder of our jumpers make their way down, this completes today's free fall parachute jump by the Black Daggers, and on behalf
Fighting Falcon!
Notice precision of which these individual movements are executed. And from the left, the F-16 and the 4-point roll. And now, one more time. As he approaches shutdown, Major Smith will set up for a series of maneuvers which will demonstrate the F-16's ability to turn tight and stay unpredictable. A trait which helps the Viper survive against low altitude threats. He will then quickly transition from horizontal flight. Major Smith is now slowing the F-16 to prepare for easy. From your left, the F-16 and the knife edge pass. Big city, smell the cage. You We would also like to remember our wounded warriors and veterans in attendance, and those who have given their lives defending this great nation.
Oh, there he is. Awesome. You see how fast he goes?
This will be your best photo opportunity, so get your cameras ready to capture the salute.